The altcoin markets are firing up and there might be a bull market and you need to have a plan in that bull market. That's why in this video we discuss 3 important rules if you prepare for the upcoming bull market. Let's get started. First of all, the history of the crypto markets have proven that things can be super volatile and therefore super painful. A lot of people can be caught off guard by either buying too late or jumping into the crypto markets, for instance, in 2021 at the peak, or selling too early in the sense that people want to get out of the markets just before the bull cycle happens. And that is why it's important to talk about the 3 important rules. And I mentioned that it can be very hard to get into the markets, or it can be very painful to be in the crypto markets. This means you can be buying at the wrong period of time, but you can also be selling just prior to the actual run. And I believe that there are a lot of people that think that the bear market has started and want to get out of the positions, assuming that we will see a recession, which is being strengthened on social media. And then 2 weeks later, all of a sudden, there's no recession at all. And we start to V-shape back up. Just like we've seen with some of the altcoins in the past weeks, that all of a sudden, within a few days, they trend to go up by more than 50 to 70%. And that's leaving a lot of people behind that wish they wanted to get into the position. So first of all, let's talk about the first rule we need to implement into our strategy. It is a super straightforward but comprehensive one, and it says, do the exact opposite of what your emotions are saying at all times. If you're currently feeling that you would like to be buying gold, then I'm going to show you 2 charts that tell you not to. First of all, it's up 30% this year, which is the 2nd year in a row. You need to realize that gold has been going up on average around 7% year by year. And then if we have 30% in the last year and 30% in this year, it's an extreme outlier. And now if you look at the chart next to me, then from my personal belief and understanding, I would not be advocating to getting into a position at this point. Probably looking for the next 12 months, it's likely to be going down and there won't be any return at all. It's green candles after green candles and the RSI levels are getting into the same stage as in 1980. Now, it reminds me of charts that I've seen in other assets, and the lucky factor is that I've been in the crypto markets for 8 years, so I've experienced multiple cycles. And by having that great fortune of experiencing multiple cycles, you can also understand the psychology behind every stage of that cycle. So now let's look at Bitcoin in 2021, which if we just erase what happened afterwards and we just look at 2021 with the candles at that moment in time, it's very comparable to the price action of gold. And if you look at Bitcoin at those price levels, with those candles and those indicators, if your answer is that you're not getting into that position right now, then gold is the exact same. While if you're looking at social media, then you would actually do the opposite. So it's kind of similar between Bitcoin back then and gold right now. But of course, in terms of percentages, it's less massive. However, going into a bull market with altcoins, you will have a lot of emotions. Your portfolio is going to go swinging around massively day by day. And based on those emotions, you will have a lot of thoughts that are going to influence your decision making. And that's why it's the best to do the exact opposite of what your emotions are saying. And especially if you would like to build a strategy based on those. So my advice would be to build a strategy based on data rather than emotions. If my emotions were getting into control with the altcoin portfolio that I had, then probably I would have had way worse decisions than the ones that I've been making. Go risk on when the time is ripe, go risk off when the markets are getting overvalued, but primarily, and let's use that as a final example to finalize this part, if you have, for instance, a portfolio of 100K and you allocate everything into altcoins and just say, I don't have any extensive assets outside of crypto, outside of the 100K, but I've got 100K in real estate, so my total portfolio is 200K. First of all, you're a complete maniac having that type of allocations, but let's just use that as a reference. Now let's assume your altcoins go up to 900K, so your total portfolio becomes 1 million. Out of that is 90% into altcoins. By definition, without even having the emotions of it can do another 2x, you need to rebalance your portfolio purely on your portfolio management and risk and other things that you have. If you follow a strategy like that, independent of time, independent of targets with altcoins that you have, but just purely on the things that you can control, then you're going to outperform almost everyone. And that's the first part and the first rule that I wanted to give to you. It also brings me to the second rule. The second rule requires the charts, and it's a little difficult, but I'm going to explain it entirely. The rule is analyze any investment or chart on the information provided on a particular day without any bias. Like, what that means is you should be able to analyze any chart independent of you having a position or independent of you not having a position, just plainly looking at the chart and saying to yourself, what do I want to do if I had some cash available at this point and you would be holding a gun to my head? That's extreme, but that is basically what you should be doing if you're looking to get into any altcoin perspectives at this point. So if the answer is I'd be buying, if you're looking at a chart, then if you have a position, your answer should be that you're holding that position. If you see an extremely chart that goes up, or at least your analysis says, I don't want to be into a position, I want to sell or de-risk, then that position should be sold or partially. It's very simple. Let's have a look at a few of the charts, in which the first one is Bitcoin. And the best way to learn this for yourself is to go back with the charts. You can also use the replay button on TradingView and start doing tests with yourself. So get a random chart on there, type in a random day, go to that random day and just write down on which basis you would like to say yes or no to position, and then just play it out. And the key trigger with that is that if you do it that way, you will start seeing the same patterns over and over again, because every cycle is the exact same in terms of price action, independent of the time. The price is the same, the psychology behind it is the same. So if we're looking at an asset like Bitcoin in 2021, where we have this 2-week structure that peaks up extremely high, it's comparable to gold at this point with the high factors, right? So it's not the right time to start stepping into it, as basically the barber and everyone wanted to get into it. But if we look at 2022, when things are extremely undervalued, it felt very hard to get into that position. There were questions of Bitcoin surviving. It dropped beneath the previous all-time high, which was also quite weird to see. So that, in hindsight, was actually the best period to step into it. So that's why testing yourself with just plain charts, seeing it from an organic view, is basically the best way going into the markets. And you can do this game with every chart. So for instance, if we look at each Bitcoin right now, it's first of all a disastrous chart, but it's comparable to the price action that we saw in the bottoming period in 2019, which was the last time the RSI on the weekly came as low as it is right now. And history has proven that when the RSI is this low and the narrative comes afterwards, the return here was approximately, 5.5x, 450%. We don't know how far it goes this time, but it tells you that based on this chart, independent of all the noise that you have, that it is not a bad decision to go into it. And this goes on and on. I think if we're looking at specific altcoins, Then Sui has been making a big move at the end of last year. It ran all the way from 50 cents towards $5.30. And then since January, February, we started to collapse. Questioning why we were dropping down, primarily not based on crypto, primarily based on macro. So when macro changes a little bit and fundamentally Sui has been growing as an ecosystem, then having a 50% correction or more is actually a great indicator to step into the asset. And now it's proving already that it's a good decision to get into any asset that has been going down. So by checking the charts and looking at the indicators and copy pasting those on different time frames with different assets, actually proving you the best strategy out there. And it's erasing all these secondary assumptions that you usually have. And the same can be said on optimism, which has had multiple cycles in the previous 3 years where we have seen a lot of upwards momentum, where we also have seen a lot of people saying or getting into positions when they are high. I actually got trapped a little bit previous time when we were getting into these periods here in July, where I was assuming that we were gonna go up from there. But as you know, I'm down a little. But just plainly looking at the indicators, looking without any side conditions, then all of those charts are currently screaming that I would like to get into it. And that is the best way as a rule to test yourself and to get the best strategy out there is by checking the charts, having no bias, and looking at it plainly with just a conclusion for yourself. The final rule is one that's not helping me, but ultimately I would like to have a positive impact for your portfolio, also for my portfolio. It's basically a journal for myself. And the final rule is something I implemented significantly. Sometimes I go to events or just talking to people and they say, hey, have you been checking this? Or hey, have you seen this on Twitter? I rarely check anyone out. I just do whatever I want to do. And I don't see much value in data from others, except for a few. So, for instance, the value that I get from Raoul Pal with the liquidity chart is very helpful. And macroeconomic analysts I'm looking at to get more information as I'm still learning. But the final rule is stop scrolling social media and actually erase your social media, basically, because there are a lot of people that are saying some stuff on social media or copying everyone that have no clue what they are saying. Or they are saying something and not really doing that in their personal life or doing absolutely other things. Like a lot of people in crypto are marketing gurus. And the idea behind this channel is to actually show you a portfolio that any regular guy can do, any regular guy can follow through. So use social media as your own reference for your own analysis. If you want to be a day trader, learn TA from other ones on social media and start getting more info for yourself. If you're looking to get a portfolio and you were going wrecked like I did, then you learn from the fact that what I've been doing to not be doing that and improve your own skill game, just like I'm improving myself. And it gives you a method of investing into altcoins. Avoid looking at news because news is always late and after the party and price follows first. Except for Black Swan events, but you need to stay objective, as news is there to get you out of balance. And given the fact that the crypto markets are super volatile, super risky, the more you get out of balance, the heavier the impact will be on your portfolio in a negative way. And that's why you need to avoid that and you need to stay consequent and in your lane and in your focus when it comes to it. And if you do that, you need to erase all the side effects and improve your skill game. And then you will have the best return possible. During these markets, I'm always looking for opportunities to build my portfolio. And OKX is bringing you an opportunity. They are the first fully licensed exchange in Europe with the lowest fees. And to help you a little bit with your portfolio, and to celebrate this milestone, they are giving away up to €50 in Bitcoin if you sign up today on the exchange. Signing up can be done within 5 minutes, and if you deposit 100 euros worth of crypto, you'll receive the first 20 euros in Bitcoin. Start rebuilding your portfolio today. Go to the link in the description or scan the QR code and enjoy up to 50 euro in Bitcoin.